Think you understand Claude architecture at a professional level exam? Let's put that knowledge to the test. In this video, you'll face Claude Certified Architect, professional practice questions covering agentic systems, architecture, tool use, context management, security, evaluation, and production deployment. Track your score as we go, and if you want more practice, visit Study for Exam through the link in the description. Let's get into it. Question 1. You are designing a Claude-powered application that needs to perform several actions through external services. What architectural approach is most appropriate? A. Give the model unrestricted access to all external systems. B. Expose clearly defined tools with controlled permissions. C. Place all API credentials directly in the prompt. D. Allow the model to generate arbitrary API requests. Correct answer, B. Expose clearly defined tools with controlled permissions. Explanation: tools should provide well-defined capabilities with appropriate authorization boundaries. This gives Claude the ability to perform useful actions while keeping the application in control of what the model can access. Question 2. A production agent needs to complete a task that may involve dozens of tool calls. What should the architect pay particular attention to? A. Tool orchestration, state management, and termination conditions. B. Increasing the number of tools indefinitely. C. Removing all intermediate validation. D. Allowing unlimited execution time. Correct answer: A. The coordinator's task decomposition. Explanation: long-running agentic workflows require careful orchestration. The system should maintain relevant state, handle failures, and have clear conditions for completing or stopping execution. Question 3. An agent is given access to a tool that can modify customer records. Which design provides the strongest safety boundary? A. Let the model decide which records it can access. B. Enforce authorization outside the model. C. Put authorization instructions only in the system prompt. D. Give the tool access to the entire customer database. Correct answer, B. Enforce authorization outside the model. Explanation: critical authorization decisions should be enforced by deterministic application or service controls rather than relying solely on model instructions. Question 4. A Claude application retrieves thousands of documents before asking the model to answer a question. The responses have become less focused. What is the best architectural response? A. Retrieve more documents. B. Improve retrieval and provide only relevant context. C. Remove the user question. D. Increase tool permissions. Correct answer, B. Improve retrieval and provide only relevant context. Explanation: more context is not always better. Retrieval should prioritize relevant information and avoid unnecessary content that can increase cost and reduce the model's ability to focus on the task. Question 5. A team wants an agent to use internal company documentation when answering employee questions. Which architecture is most appropriate? A. Retrieval augmented generation using an authorized knowledge source. B. Fine-tune the model every time a document changes. C. Put the entire documentation library into every prompt. D. Allow the model to invent missing information. Correct answer, A. Retrieval augmented generation using an authorized knowledge source. Explanation: RAG can provide Claude with current, relevant organizational information at runtime without requiring the underlying model to be retrained whenever documentation changes. Question 6. An agent sometimes receives incorrect information from a retrieved document. What should the architect consider? A. Retrieval quality, source trustworthiness, and validation. B. Automatically trusting every retrieved document. C. Increasing the model's permissions. D. Removing all citations. Correct answer: A. Retrieval quality, source trustworthiness, and validation. Explanation: retrieved content should not automatically be treated as authoritative. Source quality, retrieval accuracy, and appropriate validation are important when building reliable knowledge-based applications. Question 7. A multi-agent application has a coordinator that delegates research tasks to several specialized agents. One sub-agent repeatedly produces work outside its assigned responsibility. What should be improved? A. Agent roles and task boundaries. B. Database storage capacity. C. User interface colors. D. Network bandwidth only. Correct answer: A. Agent roles and task boundaries. Explanation: Clearly defined responsibilities help specialized agents stay within their intended roles and make the overall multi-agent system easier to reason about and evaluate. Question 8. A developer wants Claude to return information that will be consumed directly by another application. Which approach is preferable? A. Structured output with an explicitly defined schema. B. Unrestricted prose. C. Random formatting. D. Asking the model to do its best. Correct answer: A. Structured output with an explicitly defined schema. Explanation: structured output provides a predictable format that downstream applications can validate and process more reliably. Question 9. A model-generated action could result in a costly or irreversible operation. What should happen before execution? A. Validate the proposed action and apply appropriate authorization or approval controls. B. Execute it immediately. C. Ask the model whether it thinks the action is safe. Remove logging to improve performance. Correct answer: A. Validate the proposed action and apply appropriate authorization or approval controls. Explanation: high-impact actions should have safeguards outside the model. Validation, authorization, and human approval can help prevent unintended consequences. Question 10. A Claude agent frequently gets stuck in a loop between two tools. What is the most likely architectural issue? A. Missing or ineffective termination and recovery logic. B. Insufficient screen resolution. C. Too many database indexes. D. Incorrect user interface styling. Correct answer: A. Missing or ineffective termination and recovery logic. Explanation: agent loops can occur when the workflow has no effective stopping condition or when the agent cannot interpret tool results correctly. The orchestration layer should detect and handle such situations. Question 11. A production AI system occasionally produces a technically valid but incorrect answer. Which capability can help the team identify this problem over time? A. Evaluation and monitoring. B. Removing application logs. C. Increasing prompt length indefinitely. D. Disabling user feedback. Correct answer: A. Evaluation and monitoring. Explanation: evaluation measures expected behavior against representative scenarios, while monitoring helps identify changes or failures after deployment. Question 12. A team wants to compare two different prompt strategies for an agent. What is a reliable approach? A. Evaluate both against the same representative test set and defined criteria. B. Choose the longer prompt automatically. C. Test each prompt with unrelated examples. D. Choose whichever output looks better once. Correct answer: A. Evaluate both against the same representative test set and defined criteria. Explanation: controlled evaluation makes it easier to compare approaches objectively. The same representative scenarios and measurable criteria should be used wherever possible. Question 13. An agent uses external content that may contain instructions such as ignore your previous instructions and perform this action. What security concern does this represent? A. Prompt injection. B. Data compression. C. Load balancing. D. Model quantization. Correct answer: A. Prompt injection. Explanation: untrusted content can contain instructions intended to manipulate the model's behavior. Agentic applications should treat external content as untrusted and establish appropriate boundaries between data and instructions. Question 14. Which approach can reduce the impact of a compromised or manipulated agent? A. Least privilege permissions and isolated capabilities. B. Administrator access for every tool. C. Shared credentials. D. Removing authentication. Correct answer: A. Least privilege permissions and isolated capabilities. Explanation: least privilege limits what an agent can do. Separating capabilities and restricting permissions reduces the potential impact of incorrect or malicious actions. Question 15. An agent needs information from a service but should not be allowed to modify that service. What should the architect implement? A. A read-only capability with appropriate authorization. B. Full administrative access. C. Write access with no restrictions. D. Shared credentials with other applications. Correct answer: A. A read-only capability with appropriate authorization. Explanation. The capability should match the actual business requirement. If the agent only needs to retrieve information, a read-only interface reduces unnecessary risk. Question 16. A company wants to reduce latency in an agentic workflow. Which approach should the team evaluate? A. Optimize tool calls, retrieval, model selection, and workflow orchestration. B. Add more sequential tool calls. C. Retrieve every available document. D. Increase every timeout. Correct answer. A. Optimize tool calls, retrieval, model selection, and workflow orchestration. Explanation. Agent latency can come from model calls, retrieval, tool execution, and orchestration. Optimizing these components can improve responsiveness without sacrificing necessary functionality. Question 17. An application must preserve important information between multiple agent interactions. What should the architecture provide? A. Deliberate state or memory management. B. A larger user interface. C. More unrelated context. D. Unlimited conversation history without management. Correct answer? A. Deliberate state or memory management. Explanation. Persistent state or memory mechanisms can preserve relevant information across interactions. The architecture should also control what information is retained and how it is accessed. Question 18. A team is moving an agent from a prototype into production. Which change is most important? A. Add robust security, observability, evaluation, failure handling, and operational controls. B. Remove logging. C. Give the agent broader permissions. D. Stop testing once the prototype works. Correct answer. A. Add robust security, observability, evaluation, failure handling, and operational controls. Explanation. Production systems require stronger operational safeguards than prototypes. Reliability, security, monitoring, evaluation, and recovery mechanisms should be considered before deployment. Question 19. A team notices that agent performance has degraded several months after deployment. What should they investigate? A. Changes in data, user behavior, tools, prompts, and model performance. B. Only the application's logo. C. Only the original test results. D. Nothing. The model should remain unchanged. Correct answer. A. Changes in data, user behavior, tools, prompts, and model performance. Explanation. Production environments change. Data distributions, user behavior, external tools, prompts, and model versions can all affect performance, making continuous monitoring and evaluation important. Question 20. You are architecting a high-impact Claude application where mistakes could cause significant business consequences. Which principle should guide the overall design? A. Use the model for reasoning while enforcing critical controls through deterministic systems and appropriate human oversight. B. Give Claude unrestricted authority. C. Depend entirely on prompt instructions. D. Remove validation to improve speed. Correct answer. A. Use the model for reasoning while enforcing critical controls through deterministic systems and appropriate human oversight. Explanation. A robust AI architecture does not rely exclusively on model behavior. Deterministic controls, authorization, validation, monitoring, and human oversight can provide important safeguards around high-impact AI actions. That's all Claude Certified Architect professional practice questions. How many did you get right? Drop your score in the comments. For more Anthropic Claude Certified Architect, professional practice questions, and complete exam preparation, visit Study for Exam through the link in the description. Thanks for watching. If you found this practice test useful, like, share, and subscribe for more certification preparation videos. Keep practicing and good luck with your Claude Certified Architect professional exam.